As the community of Uvalde works to come together, here's what we've learned about today's investigation. Well, 21 people are dead, including 19 children and 2 teachers. We now know the 18-year-old who opened fire inside Robb Elementary barricaded himself in a single classroom. FBI investigators and other authorities are currently searching the suspected shooter's home as they continue to learn more about the suspect and his motive. So we've got team coverage with the latest information on the victims and new information about the investigation that was revealed just hours ago during a news conference. So we want to begin with Vanessa Croy. She was at that news conference in Uvalde. And Vanessa, a lot of new details about this investigation were revealed today.
Well, that's right, Audrey. Governor Greg Abbott shared some shocking details from the investigation. He did share with us that the only forewarning of the evil that was about to take place in this elementary school yesterday was a series of messages on social media from the shooter saying that he was going to shoot his grandmother, that he shot his grandmother, and then he to shoot up the school. Now, let me give you a sneak peek of what's going on behind me right now. A lot is developing in the last few minutes. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz has just come onto the scene, as well as the Del Rio Sector Chief, and the CBP Chris Magnus is also here at Robb Elementary, also visiting with some families we saw come out and lay some flowers here earlier today. Now, this is what else that we have learned as investigators are still gathering evidence behind us. The Governor Greg Abbott shared investigators believe happened on Tuesday. The 18-year-old shot his grandmother in the face and then he ran off. He wrecked his car near the school, ran into the building with an AR-15 rifle. Uvalde ISD police caught up with him, but the shooter ran inside a classroom. That's when a special team of DPS and Border Patrol agents rushed in and took down that gunman. It's still unclear how long the gunman was barricaded inside that classroom before he was killed. Governor Abbott praised the heroic efforts of law enforcement rushing into the violence to save lives. 3 officers, including a Border Patrol agent, were shot during that altercation, and thankfully all are doing well today. Now, we do know that the 18-year-old is from this Uvalde. The governor saying today that he is a reported high school dropout, but he doesn't have an adult criminal record, nor does he have any history of mental illness, leaving so many in this community today who are trying to recover and pick up the pieces to wonder why. One of those wondering that today is one of their own county deputy chief who the governor shared today lost his daughter in this shooting. Guys, back to you.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. 15 minutes into that press conference, Beto O'Rourke confronted Governor Abbott and was then escorted out moments later. KENS 5's Victoria De Leon was following that situation for us. And Victoria, what did Beto say when he was escorted out?
Well, Audrey, one of the first things O'Rourke said was that this should not have happened again. He said that something should have changed after Sandy Hook and then again after the 2019 mass shooting in El Paso. But we want to take you back to the moments when that exchange first started between the governor and Beto O'Rourke. Now, Governor Greg Abbott was updating the press on what we know about the events leading up to the shooting at Robb Elementary. Now, just before passing the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, O'Rourke told Abbott, quote, "This is on you." Now, when O'Rourke was talking to the press after being escorted out, he emphasized the need for stricter gun laws.
He should not have been able to buy an AR-15 right there. Do you want a solution? Stop selling AR-15s in the state of Texas. You want a solution? Have universal background checks. We don't have them. You want a solution? Red flag laws or extreme risk protection orders, which stop a shooting before it happens. You want a solution? Safe storage laws. Those are 4 solutions that have been brought up by the people of Texas.
Now, the debate over gun laws and gun control and the arguments surrounding it will continue, but we have to remember that there are grieving families in Uvalde. 19 children did not get to go home yesterday. 2 teachers will not be returned to their lives or their homes for that matter. Following Tuesday's mass shooting. Now at 5, we'll share some insight from one member of the Uvalde community who is very upset, rightfully so, and said he showed up to today's press conference demanding change. We're live outside of Uvalde High School. I'm Victoria De Leon, KENS 5.
Thanks so much, Victoria. And we are working to learn more about the 21 victims as they are identified. KENS 5's Troy Kless joins us in studio and has spent all day working to confirm this information. Troy, what can you tell us about those victims?
Well, Audrey, we heard the Texas Rangers say in that press conference earlier that they have identified all the victims but haven't released the names. So between KENS 5, the Associated Press, and our affiliates, we've been able to confirm the names of the following victims here through family members. We start with 10-year-old Nevaeh Bravo, 10-year-old Ileana Cruz Torres, 10-year-old Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10-year-old Jayla Silguero, 8-year-old Uzziah Garcia, who you see right here, again, all so young, and 10-year-old Rogelio Torres here as well, and Robb Elementary teacher Eva Morales, one of the teachers killed in yesterday's shooting. Now, some of the other names include Jose Flores, Xavier Javier Lopez, and Layla Salazar. We're working to get pictures of them and also confirm additional names right now, so we'll keep you posted and we'll hope to have an update for you at 5 o'clock. Audrey?
Thanks so much, Troy. As so many people are left traumatized after yesterday's shooting, and that shock will most likely be long-lasting. Right now, counselors with the Ecumenical Center are in Uvalde to offer evidence-based mental health therapy. Unfortunately, they are familiar with this sort of tragedy. In the past, they've responded to similar mass shootings, including at the church in Sutherland Springs. The center's director, Mary Beth Fisk, says help is available right now for children, adults, and even law enforcement who responded to the scene.
When they get to a point where they would like to talk with a counselor, making sure that we're available and on scene whenever their need is there. So today, many of the families will be coming to the resource center.
Well, Fisk says Uvalde is a tight-knit community and they're expecting many people to be affected by this. She says everyone is welcome to use these resources. As San Antonio Church is holding a candlelight prayer service tonight, it'll be held at River of Life Church at 3302 East South Cross. The service starts at 7 p.m. And as the Uvalde community continues to process an unimaginable tragedy, people have been paying their respects to the lives lost. KENS 5's Clark Finney spoke with a family member of one of those children who survived the shooting and 2 high school students who went to school with the person responsible.
The day after the deadliest school shooting in Texas history, Uvalde residents pay their respects.
I grew up here in this town. 38 years, I went to school here. I rode my bike here, I would walk here.
Adolfo Hernandez is still trying to comprehend the unimaginable. He says his nephew is a 10-year-old student at Robb Elementary and was in the classroom when the gunman began shooting.
The gunshot started going off, and before the teacher could tell the kids to get back to the corner of the class or whatever, they saw, the teacher get hit and one of the students get hit.
He says his 10-year-old nephew witnessed his teacher and classmates getting shot at. Somehow, he survived.
We know that he was in there and he saw, his friends, his classmates get hit.
Adolfo's son says he's been talking to his cousin.
I always go to his house.
Doing the best he can to comfort him after the tragedy.
Six Flags. I believe he went to Six Flags.
Among today's visitors were students who attend Uvalde High School. They say they know the shooter because he was a senior in their class.
I didn't believe it at first, and I had a little brother that attends here, and it was just scary for me.
Jarrett describes the shooter as being antisocial and says he dropped out of the school recently.
I never thought anything like this would happen or he would do this, anything really.
I really wouldn't think it'd be him either, but at the same time I would.
They were looking forward to graduation.
I'm supposed to graduate this Friday, but not anymore.